Hello everyone and welcome to the 2016 Nantucket Disc Golf Open. I'm your host Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, joined by who will really be our lead commentary, Dana Vici today. And Dana, I just called myself the host. I guess that was a little bit out of habit. I'm actually going to be working a camera primarily today. The better looking redhead's going to take over. That's a lot of pressure, buddy.
You know what? I'm not really feeling the pressure. I've been waiting for this call to the big leagues, and here we are in Nantucket, ready to do it.
Some would say, what is that, hashtag disc golf rich, I think is a phrase you may have coined in the past. Nantucket Island playing disc golf on a world-class course. John Houck design. We're in for a real treat today.
Most definitely. Par 68, this place is epic. It's beautiful. The fairways are clean. We're in for a treat.
Speaking of fairways, you actually have to take a fair E to get here. This is such an amazing place. We'd like to thank Todd Rainwater and Mike and the entire staff, everyone here at the Nantucket Disc Golf Club and beyond. It's going to be a very exciting day. Who do we have on the card that we're going to be featuring starting on hole 3?
We've got Paul McBeth, Steve Brinster, Paul Ulibarri, and Todd Lapham. Todd is from Massachusetts. Many on the East Coast will know him. He helps run their Team Winter Series.
All right, should be good. Paul McBeth has never been here before. In fact, I got to take the ferry over and experience a little bit of this Nantucket action for the first time with him and his girlfriend Hannah, who's going to be playing tomorrow on the amateur side. Steve Brinster told me yesterday that he really enjoys everything that this island has to offer, and Paul Ulibarri has won this event in the past. So I think we've got a pretty solid featured card for you today.
Most definitely, and Brinster has also won the event. So we've got a couple past winners here. We've got Paul McBeth, who is a threat to win any tournament, so let's do it.
We just heard the 2-minute warning. We're going to get in place. We're going to be thanking all of our previous sponsors from all of our previous broadcasts right here for the Nantucket Disc Golf Open. Dana Vici is going to take the mic. Let's get started.
And good morning, everybody. Welcome to beautiful Nantucket Disc Golf Course here on Nantucket Island in Massachusetts. We have Paul McBeth on the tee. Looks like Paul's lining up his forehand. He's going to want to keep it low, play the skip. He's doing that. It's coming right at the bucket. Soft skip. Probably one of the softer skips we'll see today. These are very fast fairways. Likely we'll see discs skipping into the brush. Not there though. Paul's left himself with about 12 to 15 feet for the birdie. And Steve Brinster has a putter in his hand. He's looking to line up a little bit different of a shot. He's going to go high with the left to right fade, checking the putter in, hopefully towards the basket. Hole 3 is a 274-foot par 3. And Steve leaves that a little bit high, and he's going to be likely pitching up from there. And Paul Ulibarri lining up the forehand here. Needs to miss this tree, get a big skip. There's the big skip I was talking about. And that is inside the circle. Great shot from Paul. Todd with a nice turnover. He's going to be just outside the circle. Nice little run from Brinster. He's going to be tapping in for the birdie 3. Next up, we've got Todd Lapham. And Paul cleans up nicely for his birdie. Nice birdie from Yuli. Looks like Brinster and Todd will be tapping out right here for their pars, excuse me. All right, let's move on to hole 4.
And just saw some pro smash it with a Dynamic Discs Defender. But you're just not sure that disc is right for you. If any of this describes you, then the Dynamic Discs Buyback Program is for you. Just go to any of our buyback retailers and purchase a disc from Dynamic Discs, Latitude 64, or Westside Discs. Try out that disc for 14 days, and if you're not completely satisfied with that disc, take it back and get it replaced with whatever disc you want in the store of any brand. Go to dynamicdiscs.com/retail to find a buyback retailer near you and get out there and play some disc golf.
Fear the water no more. The Golden Retriever by Dynamic Discs. An incredibly easy-to-use tool that goes from storage to use in seconds and helps you keep your feet and clothes dry. After uncoiling the rope, hold the rope in your non-throwing hand, and just like throwing a rope to a person in the water, toss the retriever to the far side of your disc. Pull back slowly with the rope centered on the disc. Once it latches on, pull slowly to retrieve. The Retriever is lightweight and compact with a sturdy construction and rust-proof powder coat finish. Includes 50 feet of durable rope. The Golden Retriever by Dynamic Discs.
And we're back here at hole 4. It is the start of a tough 3-hole stretch, a 626-foot par 4 from the long tee. We are playing long tees all day today. The best route is to split the trees on either side of the fairway about 300 from the tee. For reference, if you see the short tee is 425 feet from the basket. We're currently watching the card in front of us hole out before we get to the tee shots right here, but this is a beautiful par 4. And as everybody clears out, we should be hopping over to the tee pad. Paul McBeth will have the box, as he did start out with the birdie 2 on hole number 3. It's a beautiful day out here in Nantucket. It's probably about 75 degrees, slightly overcast skies. We did have a little rain this morning, but the skies are starting to clear. I'm seeing some blue. You can definitely feel the sun. It's warming up, but absolutely great disc golf conditions right now. So Paul McBeth, his last time that he's played a one-day event was last year in Australia. He played a one-day, one-round Australian Open warm-up. He actually did not win that, but here he is at a one-day B tier in Nantucket, laying down an absolutely gorgeous roller. And that's how you get birdies, folks. He's probably got about 140, 150 to the basket from there. Looks like Paul is also opting for the roller. One of the great things about this course is the fairways are so clean, you can really lay down some nice rollers. But as I did say earlier, you will see some skips. You'll see a shot coming down the middle of the fairway, and then all of a sudden it skips 5 or 6 times like it's on ice and heads off into the brush. Speaking of heading into the brush, Yuli's roller does not quite stand up enough. He did catch the bushes. He's going to be only in there a few feet. He will have an opportunity to get up and down for the birdie. And Steve Brinster following suit, going with the roller here as well. Steve is actually one of the best rollers in the game. I put him up there with the likes of Nico Locastro, Steve Rico in terms of rolling. We're probably going to see quite a few roller shots from Steve today. Coming at you. And tournament director Todd Rainwater looks like he's coming to return a disc to somebody. Just about gets caught up by Brinster's beautiful roller. Bob quickly steps up to the tee and just absolutely pipes it right down the middle. There's those skips I was talking about. It does stay in the fairway though. Everybody minus Yuli should be looking at an opportunity for birdie here. It is a little bit of a shorter par 3. Most of the trouble is up near the basket. A menacing small tree on the right side is about 200 from the basket, and that tree actually does get hit a lot from what Todd tells me. The entrance to the green is more guarded if approaching from the left and more open on the right. Both Brinster and McBeth's rollers did come in on the left. So as we work our way down the fairway, Paul Ulibarri will be out. He will have an opportunity for the birdie, albeit a tough one. He's likely going to be throwing a forehand shot, left to right bender to the green, or he could go with the backhand. He's up there lining it up, looking at his options. As I said earlier, the left side of the fairway is much more guarded to the green. He is on the left side, so I'm looking for him to find his way to the right side, the cleaner way to the basket. And while Paul lines up his shots here, I would like to invite everybody to go out and share the live stream on Facebook or social media, Twitter, whatever kind of social media you like. Not Terry's kind of social media, if you know what I mean, but go out there on Facebook, give us a share. Let's see if we can get some views up. Paul opts for the backhand, needs to get a skip. It does inside the circle. Great shot from Paul. He's going to be looking at the birdie. Next up is Todd. He's not much further in front of Paul, but he is inside of the fairway. He's going to have a much easier shot, but he still does have some trees to navigate. And that was a beautiful shot. Mid-range, slight hyzer flip, slides up about 12 feet past the basket. So Steve Brinster here, after a great roller, he did end up on the left side of the fairway. Looks like he's playing a skip shot to the basket. Brinster with the Firebird skip shot. It's going to the bucket, catches one of the trees inside the circle. It's going to leave him with about 25 feet for the birdie. And finally, Paul McBeth. He's got a P2 in his hand. Great touch from Paul. Everybody is looking at birdies. It looks like Paul Ulibarri will be out, followed by Todd Lapham and Steve Brinster. Paul is going to be tapping in for the birdie here. And while Paul is in the circle, he does have a small tree between him and the basket to contend with. Shouldn't be a problem for his Anheuser putt right here. I spoke too soon. He left it a little too far left. Not enough power, did not penetrate the chains. He's going to be tapping in for par. Brinster from 25. Brinster good from 25, gets the birdie here. Steve has actually won this event. He won it last year. He shot a 60 and a 57, and actually in 2014 he went 57, 56 and lost. The person he lost to, none other than Paul Ulibarri, who went 53, 57. This is a par 68 course, so anything in the 50s is good. Paul's 53 from last year is absolutely smoking. It was 1063 rated. And let's move on to hole 5.
For driving with power or into a headwind, Vibram designed a distance driver with amazing glide and a strong, predictable fade. It is the ideal disc for big arms, forehand drives, and smooth right-to-left finishes. Introducing the Olace from Vibram. Durability, grip, performance.
The Mach X by DGA, the evolution of disc golf.
All right, bringing it back here to hole 5 at the Nantucket Disc Golf Open. Paul Macbeth is on the tee. He started out his round going birdie 2, birdie 3. Hole 5 is the first of 2 consecutive long par 5s. It's 811 feet. The most difficult part about this hole is the tree-lined and potentially treacherous tee shot. You need to make it roughly through 600 feet through the trees and center gap, and before the hole actually opens up to the green. And it doesn't open up for a while. It kind of bottlenecks back up before opening up around the basket. And here is Steve Brinster after coming off a birdie on the previous hole with a low skip shot. Leaves him in a pretty good spot in the middle of the fairway. A couple trees right in front of him to contend with. We've got Todd Lapham here. And Todd is from Massachusetts, not too far from here. We've seen him throw a couple smooth shots right up the gut, and he does just the same right here, skipping right over Brinster's tee shot, and they're going to be really close to each other. Similar shots. Last up here, Paul Ulibarri. He does have the course record with a 53 shot in 2014. He goes with the low liner, huge skip, another skip, and he's just on the edge of the fairway, but it is a par 5. He's going to have couple opportunities to make good shots and score the birdie.
And Dana, as our cart here walks down the fairway, I've just got to ask, what have you thought in the preliminary walking that you've done out here of this course? We talk about it being a par 68. We talk about a world-class John Houck design, but what are your thoughts yourself?
I love it. I am really excited to be out here. I'm really excited to get an opportunity to throw some discs out here, hopefully later today after the event. But this is my first experience with a John Houck course, and you can tell this guy is a master. This is a very well thought out layout. Again, par 68. There's a number of par 5s, par 4s, and par 3s, offering challenges from the tee, maybe middle of the fairway, around the basket. You get a little bit of everything here, and the fairways are generally pretty generous, but if you do get off, it is thick bush. There is some poison ivy. Basically, you want to stay on the fairway. I myself, being allergic to poison ivy, I really don't want to go in the bushes here, and I hope that I don't have to. But I got a microphone in my hand instead of a disc, so that does help my chances. And Yuli from the edge of the fairway is standing. Looks like he's got a sidearm lined up. If he could just get about 200 feet, he's going to set himself up nicely for an upshot to the green for a birdie. He goes with a forehand roller that was absolutely perfect. Catches a tree, does stay in the fairway, but it's left him in a tough spot to get to the basket from there. Kind of a bad break for Paul, but he still is in the fairway. Speaking of Pauls, we got Paul McBeth here doing the same thing. He's kind of pinched up behind the tree, going with the forehand. I doubt he's going forehand roller, but we'll see. Kind of a nice soft hyzer flip, catches a big flare, and he is about 3 or 4 feet inside of the bushes. He's in the rough, not too bad, but you really want to attack the green from the left side of the fairway versus the right where both Pauls have ended up. It looks like Steve Brinster is out next. We are seeing another shot where he's leaning out, quite possibly lining up a roller here. And that is an absolutely unbelievable shot. Patent pending cut roller out into the fat part of the fairway on the left side. He's going to have a clean look at the basket from less than 200 feet for birdie. We got Todd from a similar spot, but Todd actually gets to throw a run-up. With a run-up, and again, like he has all day, folks, just nice, soft, easy up the middle of the fairway. Great shot. He's going to have a look at the birdie. So for both of the Pauls here, they are going to be faced with a difficult third shot to get themselves up to the green. Paul Ulibarri is definitely in better shape than McBeth. Ulibarri is still in the fairway. He will have a chance with the left to right shot through a number of trees to get to the basket. And he hits the gap that he needed to. I think it needed just a little bit more juice, but still a great shot from Paul. He will be putting for a birdie, likely outside of the circle. And as I get up here and take a look at Paul's lie, he did not go too far into the brush. He does have some low-hanging branches right in front of him, and then about 40 feet in front of him, he's going to have to throw a low forehand shot here. And he catches that second set of low hangers that I did mention, and he is going to be short. We've got Todd lining up from outside of 200 feet. He leaves it just a little bit high, and that's going to leave him probably right outside of 60, 70 feet. Next up, Steve Brinster. And picture perfect upshot from Brinster. He's going to be tapping in on this 811-foot par 5. He's going to be tapping in a birdie. Now we're coming up to Todd. I believe is going to be out before the Pauls. That is Paul McBeth and Paul Ulibarri. Gives it a nice little run, get the heart beating a little bit. So McBeth is out here. He's on the edge of the fairway. I think he's going to have a straddle of sorts. It'll be interesting to see if he goes straddle jump or no straddle. And McBeth not happy with his run here with his hot pink McPro AVR. Paul Ulibarri just outside the circle here. Probably going to see a little step putt from him. Although he marked his lie, that may have taken him inside of the circle. Nope, he is still lining up the little stepper here. Good run by Paul, just leaves it a little bit high. Those are ones that usually expect him to cash in. He is one of the best step putters in the game. I watched his feet closely, ladies and gentlemen. Completely legal. It was a good looking step putt. Just unfortunately for Paul Ulibarri, he left it a little bit high. McBeth tapping in from about 10 feet. And I have to say I'm slightly surprised to only see one birdie on hole 5 here. Brinster is going to be tapping in for birdie.
Disc golf is a sport growing in popularity all over the United States and around the world. Dynamic Discs is the premier disc golf manufacturer, distributor, and retailer for enthusiasts, beginners, experts, and hardcore players. Along with hosting some of the best professional disc golf association tournaments in the country, Dynamic Discs also takes pride in offering the best customer service in the disc golf industry. At Dynamic Discs, customer service isn't just a department, it's the way we do business. Our entire staff at Dynamic Discs is knowledgeable and passionate about growing the sport and providing you with an exceptional experience. We know how important it is to get the products that you order in your hands as quickly as possible. Orders are shipped immediately from our own inventory and arrive at your doorstep in 2 to 3 days to almost any location around the United States. Check us out at dynamicdiscs.com.
And that is Paul Ulibarri throwing a great tee shot. He is just short of Paul McBeth's tee shot. We're here at hole 6, which is another difficult par 5. It's got a very tight beginning and an even tighter ending. 799 feet from the long tee. We saw a couple decent shots. Steve Brinster hung his hyzer flip tee shot a little wide, and he's got a long ways to go to the basket from there. There is a seemingly wall of trees here in the fairway about 400 feet from the tee box, and that is where Paul McBeth and Ulibarri have ended up. Brinster is just going to want to at least get to where they have thrown their tee shots. And catching everybody up here on the scores, we have Paul McBeth starting out birdie 2, birdie 3, par 5. Paul Ulibarri, birdie 2, par 4, and a par 5. And Steve Brinster, who's about to throw, has gone par 3, birdie, birdie. Todd Lapham started out with a par, a birdie, and he went back to a par after a great couple shots on hole number 5. And unfortunately for Brinster, he catches another tree only about 60 feet in front of where he was at. And Steve Brinster still out. Looks like it's going to be Brinster, Todd, and then the Pauls. Still a lot of trees for Brinster to go through before the fairway does open up. And catching another tree, but covering a lot more ground, about the same distance as his first 2 shots combined. He's going to be over on the right side of the fairway in the bushes. Here we've got Todd, who's a pretty quick player. Throws a nice little hyzer flip that needs a sit. Does look like it catches the left corner of the rough. He is going to be pinched up from there, as there is a little bit of a dog leg left in the fairway. So both Ulibarri and McBeth are pinched up next to some dead trees that are in the middle of the fairway. McBeth just commented he thinks these trees should be cleared out and this should be made a par 4. We've got Ulibarri lining up a couple different shots in his head. I really don't know what he's going to go with. He is pinched up next to this tree and has some trees to go before the fairway does open up, before closing back down. And it looks like he's going to go with the forehand roller here. He puts it down nicely. Catches a tree about 300 feet away. It wasn't going to go much further. It was hooking left, but he's going to be in good position from there. So the group is currently hunting for Steve Brinster's third shot. It caught a tree about halfway in its flight, ricocheted right over into the bushes. At this point, you've got to wonder when someone is going to start a clock.
Dana, it looks like there's officially a search party. I don't know if they've called in all of Nantucket's finest, but looks to be a search party going on, and I believe one's even found. Hopefully Steve Brinster's found so we can continue on.
It does look like the search party has been called off. Luckily for Steve Brinster, they did find his disc. Unfortunately, though, he is throwing his fourth shot from there on this par 5. Paul McBeth lining up his second shot here. Paul Ulibarri just threw from a similar lie and opted for a forehand roller. I'm up near the basket right now, and this is a really well guarded green. Lots of trees between Paul McBeth and the basket. He's got a couple to contend with off of his hand before the fairway does open up and then close back down. Taking his time as he is pinched up next to a tree. Throws a great shot, but it does catch one of the many trees I did mention. And even from where he is at, he's going to have a lot of trees between him and the basket. He's going to have to thread some sort of touch putter shot. And as I take a closer look, it looks like Paul McBeth is about 10 feet short of Paul Ulibarri's upshot. They're both going to be throwing 3, trying to get up and down for the birdie. Steve Brinster going with a patent pending. I'm guessing we may see another one of the Brinster rollers here, but he's got a lot of open fairway, probably about 130 feet before the fairway closes down to this corridor of trees to the basket. I'm waiting for something magical to happen here. As expected, he does go with the roller, but hangs it out wide. Covers a decent amount of ground. He's going to have a pitch up to the basket from there, but he'll still have about 5 or 6 trees in his way before he can actually get to the basket. Next up is Todd. I believe he hyzered out just a little bit early before making the corner.
I don't think you made the corner.
Didn't make the corner, you said?
I'm pretty sure you didn't make the corner. I could be wrong. I thought he missed it. Should only be a few feet in.
I got it. Right here.
And my apologies, I had to stand down to help them find their disc. They were advancing up the fairway just a little bit too far. I did see it skip in, and as I said, he did not quite make the corner. And I'm standing up near the basket, and I cannot see. Wow, that was a quick throw. I cannot see where he threw from, but I see where his disc ended up. He pitched up to the middle of the fairway, and now he's got a heck of a corridor to deal with. He's got a pretty wide gap off the hand, but from there it just gets tighter and tighter. Does not hit that wide gap, initial gap that he needed to. That's going to take him over near the Pauls. Okay, Todd is out here and catches another tree before he can make it inside the circle. That was a guardian tree to the circle. We've now got the Pauls, Paul Macbeth, Paul Ulibarri. They've got a pretty clean look to the basket, although he's got a tree right off his hand that he's gonna that's impeding his stance. I'm not quite sure what disc he has in his hand. I have not seen that one.
Oh my God, man.
I'm guessing it might be a rock 3, but he's not happy with that shot. Although the stance was impeded by that tree, it was a really wide gap to hit. Ulibarri trying to hit the same one. And Paul does so very nicely. In talking with Ulibarri yesterday, he said he's been throwing in all kinds of shots from 125 to 175 feet. No surprise that he put a good run on it there. Looks like Brinster has his blue Omega. It's going to be some sort of a mix between a jump putt and a throw. This disc has tons of glide. He executes the shot beautifully, and he's going to be tapping in from there. Todd Lapham up next. He's going to be putting from about 45. And that is what I like to call an and one. His disc catches a tree right out of his hand, fights through, center of the chains. Great putt.
I mean, I had to just throw it. It was right in the middle.
And those are birdies from the Pauls, Macbeth and Ulibarri. Let's move on to hole 7, which is a par 3, under 200 feet.
For me, it's time with my friends.
For me, it's a walk in the park.
For me, it's my job. Go in. Oh.
For me, it's all about the exercise.
For me, it fits into my busy lifestyle.
For me, it's my passion.
For us, it doesn't cost much to play.
For me, it's fun.
And here we are at hole 7. Hole 7 is a 178-foot par 3. There's only one tee on this hole. Macbeth showing some of that great touch with his Nova. That's going to leave him about 25 feet inside the circle. Yuli with that beautiful forehand putter shot. He's going to be tapping in for birdie there. So this is the only hole on the course that does have one tee pad. While it's only 178 feet, you have to throw a dead straight shot, and Steve Brinster has done just that. Hopping over Ulibarri's disc, he's going to have a short tap in for birdie. Don't blink because you might miss Todd throwing. Gives it a little bit of an ace run, needs to stand up, does not. Glides out, ends up outside the circle. Rest of the competitors are inside the circle. Everybody looking at the birdie here. Great to see everybody hit the gap on this very short hole. Coming off 2 tough par 5s. I wonder if John Houck, what he was thinking there. He had to be saying, I just tested these players. Now I'm going to bring them to a very short, tough tee shot. A must-get birdie 2, if you will. So while it's an easy shot, the pressure is on. And Yuli tapping out on his way by. And things are heating up here. The humidity is picking up a little bit. Still very nice weather though. Todd tickles the chains. Needed just a little bit more pop on it, or he needed to change his aim to the right a little bit. Macbeth from 25 goes with the straddle. Uncharacteristic miss by Macbeth. Nice birdie from Steve.
So every month, as you guys know, that we like to recognize an outstanding employee. So for the month of May, Employee of the Month is Dixon Jowers. Good job. All right, so for this month, like we usually do, we like to recognize somebody for outstanding service. So Employee of the Month for the month of June is Dixon Jowers. Congratulations, Dixon.
Thanks,
Good job. Good job. All right, everybody, we've come to the time of the meeting where we're going to give away our Employee of the Month award. So let's take a look. And for the third time in a row, it's Dixon Jowers. Congratulations, Dixon.
Bagger.
Well, so next on the agenda, we're going to talk about sales for next month. We have some new products coming out, and it's exciting news for everyone.
Count us down. Paul's ready.
And here we are at hole 8. Paul Ulibarri on the tee, coming off a nice birdie 2 on hole 7. Hole number 8 is a deceptively tricky par 3, especially from the long tee. It's an absolutely beautiful shot. And speaking of beautiful shots, that was inches from going in the basket. Ulibarri skips just on the backside of the green. Awesome shot. We're going to see a different shot from Brinster. Looks like he's going with the standstill. He's going to be going for the other gap, I believe. The standstill is a lost art, but Steve Brinster, definitely one of the best in the game at the standstill. He needs that to hit the ground and slide. It does. Slides just inside the circle. Great line, just needed to be up a little bit. And Macbeth can't be happy after missing that in the circle. He gets up, fires. His McPro Rock 3 skips a little bit deep. He's going to be about 20 feet, maybe just inside of 20 feet from there. Don't blink, Todd. Todd up. He needs to get a skip. He's going to be outside the circle. Everybody's going to be looking at birdie here on the 228-foot hole number 8. Now we do have a really bad signal over in this area of the course. The rest of the course tested really well over the last few days, but we do have some issues. So I apologize if you lose us or if audio goes out. We're doing the best with what we've got. So Todd would love to ring this up. He's coming off a tough couple holes. He took a double bogey on 6 and then missed a putt for birdie on 7. And he does hit the big outside the circle putt right there. Brinster checking the wind. Again, he's just inside the circle. Beautiful height and speed from Brinster. He does putt with a deep straddle, a bit unique, but goes to show you just putt however you can get it in the basket. Macbeth steps up, fires, hot pink, McPro AVR in, Yuli tapping. Let's move on to 9.
Hello, it's me, your pal, JC. I've heard your prayers for an improvement in your disc golf game. Well, JC here is going to go ahead and throw you a pretty big bone. I present the Traveler. It's an overstable driver by Full Turn Discs. Isn't it heavenly? It's the newest disc on the market. And you can take it from the highest authority that this is the disc. You're welcome.
Golf course is a slightly uphill sloping par 3 that puts an emphasis on the placement of your drive. Players are going to want to throw a left to right shot, whether it's backhand or forehand, to get themselves inside the circle and up near the basket. Ulibarri has birdied the last 3 holes, looking to make it 4 in a row here. Saws it off a little early. He's going to be just outside the circle. He might have a tree that looks to be covered in poison ivy in his way between him and the basket, but he should have a jumper from there. Brinster, he's going to be going with the backhand. After bogeying hole number 6, taking a 6 on that, he went 2-2 on the previous 2 par 3s. Looking to make it 3. Catches a little bit of cabbage off his hand. Not quite what he was looking for. He's going to have a long putt from there. Probably just about 60 feet. Macbeth hits the line perfectly with a forehand destroyer, does skip deep of the basket. He's going to have a straddle from just inside the circle for birdie from there. And Todd grips and rips, slow floating mid, up inside the circle, great shot. Todd has proven all day that he can throw a straight shot, and he does so there.
Dana, let's talk a little bit about the stretch of holes that these players walk into. A few moments ago, you said they played a pair of par 5s in a row, and then they come up to some really must-get birdies. Looks like a few of these players are capitalizing. A couple of them are struggling.
Yeah, definitely, and that's part of the Hauk design. He kind of beats you down with a tough couple par 5s in a row, and then the very short par 3, followed by a couple more. So you really got to keep your head on straight, even if you take a bogey or a big number. There's plenty of opportunities in front of you to score. And Brinster sticking with his AVR from just about 60 feet, probably just inside of there. I'm guessing we're going to see a straddle jumper. It's up, a little bit of wobble, just never gets high enough to go into the basket. Good line from Brinster, just needed to get it up another couple feet at least.
I'm just inside the circle. I'm right outside.
Looks like Ulibarri is going to be out in more ways than one. He is out, so it is his turn, and he is just outside the circle. He does have that tree that I mentioned covered in poison ivy to contend with, although it shouldn't affect him much with his Anheuser putt. Beautiful putt from Paul, and don't look now, but that is 4 in a row for Ulibarri. And Todd, center of the chains. That's 2 in a row for him. Nice bounce back after taking the double bogey 7 on hole number 6.
Right there.
Looks like Macbeth going to a knee. And another uncharacteristic miss from inside the circle from Macbeth. He needs to get out of vacation mode and get into disc golf mode. Taps it in from there. As Brinster taps in his par, we're going to be moving on to hole 10, which is the first of 4 consecutive par 4s.
I'm Madison Walker, and you're watching live disc golf on SmashBoxxTV.
What does it mean to grow the sport? Some of us want to see it on TV. Some want to see big crowds of spectators. Maybe all of that will come true. Right now, I just want to get out and throw. I just want to watch my disc fly. Just me and the course.
This is the Pro Tour.
Hey, I'm Nate Doss, and I'm playing the Pro Tour.
I'm playing the Pro Tour.
I'm Ricky Wysocki, and I'm playing the Pro Tour.
This is the Pro Tour.
I'm Paul Macbeth, and this is the Pro Tour.
I'm playing the Pro Tour.
I am Kale Laviska.
Justin Keegan.
I'm Big Germ, and this is the Pro Tour.
Say it better like you, say it more like you.
This is the Pro Tour.
I'm Sarah Holcomb, and I'm playing the Pro Tour.
I'm Eric McCabe, and I'm playing the Pro Tour.
I am the Pro Tour.
I'm Will Schusterick, and this is the Pro Tour.
How's that cheese? Oh, this is gonna be good.
Ulibarri coming off 4 birdies in the row. Throws his forehand tee shot on the par 4, number 10. Absolutely perfect. Navigates the tight corridor, finishes right to the open side of the fairway. He's going to have a short shot to the green from there. Okay, Steve Brinster on the tee here. He's going with a backhand shot of sorts. So hole number 10 is a 583-foot par 4. It is the first of 4 in a row, as I said. The huge emphasis on this hole is placed on the drive. And Brinster, unfortunately, does not throw a good drive there. But the placement is all about the drive here. Ulibarri showed us how to do it. The hole bends right after about 260 feet, and then there are a couple trees guarding the basket. And if you go too far past the basket, you'll be in the woods. Other than that, the green is pretty much open.
Dana, as we're waiting for Macbeth to throw his drive here, seems as if he's a little bit off today. I'd almost go as far as saying aloof even. He's going up and over.
Absolutely unbelievable shot from Macbeth. He just crushes a huge anhyzer over all the trees. That lands in the fairway. I've got to walk up to see. He's going to be putting for eagle from there. Wow. I'm thinking he's going to be about 50 feet for the eagle. Again, this is a 583-foot par 4. Paul just says, I'm not messing with this fairway. I'm throwing over everything.
And Dana, I got to admit, as we were sitting there just talking about Paul throwing and where his mindset is at no point did I even think about that route. And additionally, as a cameraman, we're just lucky that we had any clue where that was going. That was a huge crush by Paul Macbeth. He's looking to pick up a stroke or two on the rest of the field and then some with a monster crush here on hole 10. Holy cow.
Yeah, I'm not sure what was more impressive, his shot or your camera work on that. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Terry Miller on the catch camera today. Usually see him somewhere near the tee pad, but different format today. I'm here. I'm Dana Vici, for those of you that don't know. I'd like to thank you all for joining us on SmashBoxxTV here at the Nantucket Disc Golf Open. And while we wait on Steve Brinster to pitch out from the woods, refresh those of you that are just joining us. This is the Nantucket Disc Golf Course designed by John Houck, par 68, very clean fairways for the most part, lots of different shots to be thrown. We're seeing forehands, backhands, rollers, sky anhyzers from Macbeth.
And Dana, we've just moved down the fairway to look for Paul Macbeth's drive, and it's not hard to find. It's actually right next to the pin, well, relatively at 42 feet away. Meanwhile, Steve Brinster's challenge here with this very tight fairway off the tee.
Yeah, Brinster is up near the short tee pad, and he's got a pretty wide fairway to get up to the green from there, but it's going to take a really great hyzer flip shot. He throws a great shot, but it's not going to get him into the circle. He's going to be just outside of Circle 2 for all you Disc Golf Pro Tour fans out there. Circle 2 is the 20-meter circle. We don't have them today, but next week at the Disc Golf Pro Tour, Smuggler's Notch, there will be the Circle 2, U-Disc, all that Disc Golf Pro Tour jazz.
And as we wait for another throw here, Dana, I've got to say everyone's excited to be here in Nantucket for this sweet action. Also excited to get to the Pro Tour finale next weekend up in Vermont. And in talking to the tournament director, Todd Rainwater, he was just saying last night, I said, well, what's your schedule like for hosting this event every year? And he says, I love being right just before going up to Smuggler's Notch, because he knows so many of the pros are going there. So inviting them to be here just fits out really well in the schedule. So looking to add this one to the schedule for many years to come, hopefully.
Yeah, this is an absolute treat out here on Nantucket Island. It's a small island. You've got to take a ferry. You can take either the fast boat, which takes an hour to get here from Hyannis Port, or they have a slower boat, which takes closer to 2 hours. I took the 1 hour boat yesterday. It was a nice ride, air-conditioned boat. And I'm not saying small boat, I'm talking a pretty big boat. There were hundreds of people. There was actually a high school football team on the boat coming over for a game against the Nantucket High School. So Ulibarri is going to be tapping in for his 5th consecutive birdie here. He's only about 7 feet from the basket. This is Brinster after a bad tee shot. This is to save par. And for those of you counting throws, we still have not seen Paul McBeth throw. He is going to be putting for eagle here. A little frustrated. He's missed a couple short putts. I'm looking for him to jam the eagle putt. He'll be up next after Brinster. And Brinster's jumper, he gets it up, but a little too high, unlike the last hole. And McBeth cannot capitalize on the eagle. He's going to drop in for birdie. We've got Todd throwing here from the bushes outside the circle. He's got a tree in his way. Nearly drops it in though. Brinster dropping in for the bogey here on hole 10. And that's 5 in a row for Paul Ulibarri. We're going to be moving on to hole number 11, another par 4. It's a short one, 571 feet. We'll see you in a minute.
This is Bobby from Dynamic Disc, and I'm here to tell you about a product called Dymax. Dymax is the proprietary process we use to put the most detailed images on a disc. We can Dymax your tournament discs, or even send us your trophy discs. Send us an image and we'll Dymax it.
Can I Dymax my car?
Yeah, we can Dymax your car.
Can I Dymax my cat?
Yeah, we can Dymax your cat. Isn't he cute?
Can I Dymax my lunch?
Well, that's kind of weird, but yeah, we can Dymax your lunch. Go online today to order from our pre-made Dymax discs or send in your image so we can create your custom Dymax. Learn more at dynamicdisc.com/Dymax.
Sun King Discs, established in 2001. Florida's most respected name in disc sports. Official retail merchandiser of the Disc Golf Pro Tour. Currently on tour supporting Discraft and DGA live inventory, free shipping at $12. All orders $19.99, ships in a box, includes single discs, large selection of both stock and collectibles. Check out the website at www.sunkingdiscs.com.
Fairway of hole 11, watching the card in front of us play the last section of this hole. This is the difficult part of the hole. There are about 100 trees in the fairway. There's a few big wide gaps, but a lot of trees. The players are going to try to throw a left to right shot off the tee. This is only 571 feet, so it's a short par 4, but it makes up for it with all of these trees. And you'll see right in front of us we have a stump of a tree in the middle of the fairway. I kind of like that. Some of these trees are dying or have died off. They've cut them off, kind of made them statue-like. It adds a nice touch to the course, and you don't completely lose the obstacle, but it's there, something to look at. It's kind of cool. Unique feature out here at the Nantucket Disc Golf Course.
Dan, I know we've mentioned it a number of times here, but John Houck actually came out here, what was it, 2009, I believe, sometime frame, started working with Todd Rainwater and designed a very challenging course. I think both you and I alike, when we think of coming onto Nantucket, not necessarily being familiar with the property, I thought, oh, they'll have a little course here, some kind of, you know, basic elementary course, and this is far from that. You're out here. You mentioned there's 35 tee pads. Every hole except for hole 7 has both a long and a short tee, and we're challenging some of the best players in the world right now. So there's a good variety, and I think everyone should try and get out here.
Yeah, most definitely. When the planning for the course started, Todd Rainwater said, I don't want just any old course, as you said. Todd was determined to build a world-class facility, and that's what him, the rest of the Nantucket crew, and John Houck have done. In 2009, Hauk did come out here, look at a number of pieces of property before deciding on this. While that was happening, the Nantucket Disc Golf crew began its work with the state and local authorities to obtain permission to build the course. And after 3.5 long years, they completed all the required paperwork and installation of the course in the state forest. In 2012, the final few holes were installed, and the official grand opening occurred June 28, 2013, the same weekend as the 2013 Nantucket Disc Golf Open. In the fall of 2013, Mike Harder was hired as the youth program director. Since that time, he's been doing great work here with the students in most every school on the island, teaching them disc golf and promoting the sport as a healthy, fun, and family-friendly recreational alternative. And we're seeing some big, huge crushes here. And Macbeth, his disc was heading for the basket. I'm not joking when I say that was an ace run. It catches one of the last few trees before getting to the basket. It's only a 571-foot par 4, so it is short. We saw the first drive Ulibarri turn over too much into the woods, but Macbeth, again with a big booming anhyzer, throws an absolute perfect shot. Now this is a little bit more of the traditional play, throwing a mid-range, dead straight, but from here, even though he's in the middle of the fairway, he's got a really tight shot to the basket from there. This is exciting. We're getting to see this hole attacked a number of different ways. I have to say I don't believe John Hauk imagined these shots that Paul Macbeth is throwing on these last couple par 4s. And another absolutely beautiful turnover, albeit a much more controlled, less power shot. It is center cut on the left side of the fairway. A couple different routes to the basket from there. Right here. And here is Todd's shot. After a great mid-range controlled tee shot, catches a late tree. He's still got about 100 to the basket from there. Very difficult shot. Threw an awesome tee shot, but unfortunately is not going to be rewarded with a birdie here. Now the group is heading off into the woods to find Paul Ulibarri's tee shot. He did turn it over just a little bit too much.
Dana, did you assist in pointing where Yuli's disc might be, or no? I gotta say that's the pro commentator thing to do. Just letting you know.
You know, I gave him a few hand gestures. They weren't really connected with me, but it does look like they found it, so I did assist. You could say I saved the day. I don't know, but I do know that Paul Ulibarri is walking up the fairway, trying to figure out what his next play is. Not only is he in the woods, but he's got a lot of trees between him and the basket, even though he is within 200 and maybe 30, 250 feet. And while Paul Ulibarri is well outside of 200 feet, Paul Macbeth is within 100 feet. He's outside of Circle 2. but he's got a clean lane to the basket. His second opportunity in a row for eagle. Macbeth's problems today have not been getting off the tee, but putting the disc in the basket for birdie. And I am looking up now. I don't see a cloud in the sky, nothing but blue skies, sunshine. It is heating up. For a lot of these tour players that are used to playing one round a day, this is going to be a little bit of a marathon for them. And Paul Ulibarri goes with the forehand roller. Does find its way into the woods. He's going to have a difficult shot from there. But for Macbeth and Ulibarri, most of the time, they're out here on tour playing one round a day. And this is not a short course. This is a long course, par 68, just under 9,000 feet. 2 rounds out here with this heat, getting with the heat coming. Whew, long day. I'm already sweating and I'm not even throwing anything. Brinster with a left or right. Shot, great touch. I believe that's a Sentinel. Flex out nicely. Absolutely perfect shot from Steve. He's going to be looking at a short tap in for birdie.
This is you.
Macbeth is over here looking for his disc. He wasn't sure where it was. We pointed him up another 70 feet from where he was looking and said, "You're a center cut." Looking at a putt. So while Ulibarri's looking for his disc, Todd quickly throws. And I'm moving behind Ulibarri here, trying to see what he sees. He's going to have to punch it through some trees. I'm not trying to rhyme here. They're just coming. I'm not a rapper. I'm just a disc golfer. I'm just a guy that likes talking disc golf, and apparently I occasionally rhyme. And Paul Ulibarri, he's got 5 consecutive birdies. He's in jeopardy of getting a bogey here. No chance for the birdie. He's going to take a good shot, get him up there near the basket to save the par. And he makes it through the first 50 feet of woods, himself out towards the green. Speaking of greens, here's Paul Macbeth for eagle. A valiant effort from Paul. He kind of just hopped up and chucked that. I hate to say it, but a couple in a row, getting away from him. No, who am I kidding? He's dropping in for birdie. And I'm really surprised to see Paul Ulibarri's disc up near the basket. He made an absolute tremendous shot from a tree, through the bushes, through a bunch of trees, up to about 6 feet from the basket.
Into a stinging nettle bush.
And he's whining about stinging nettles now. As these guys clear up hole 11, I'm going to head over to hole 12, which is another par 4.
Hey there, I'm Keith Murray, Tournament Director of the Memorial Championship presented by Discraft. We're at Spinners on the Green in Scottsdale, Arizona. I just want to welcome everybody here to town. Good luck this week. Come by and see us at the shop. We got 10% off for all tournament competitors and even the folks coming out to watch. So check us out online as well, spinnersonthegreen.com, and have fun watching SmashBoxxTV.
For me, it's time with my friends.
For me, it's a walk in the park.
For me, it's my job. Go in.
Oh. For me, it's all about the exercise.
For me, it fits into my busy lifestyle.
For me, it's my passion. For us, it doesn't cost much to play.
For me, it's fun.
Hi, I'm Des Redding, and you're watching live disc golf on SmashBoxxTV. Check it out.
And after back-to-back eagle attempts, ending in birdies for Paul McBeth, he does have the box here on hole 12. It is another par 4, but another short par 4, only 441 feet. It takes a perfectly placed 225-foot drive to get to the bend. If you miss your drive even slightly, you could be looking at a pitch back into the fairway from a deeply wooded lie. The strokes can add up quickly here. And unlike the previous holes, there is no up and over route for Paul. I shouldn't say that. I don't think there is, but he's going to have to go right up the gut. He's going to have to lace something. And goes with a cut roller, catches a late tree that leaves him center of the fairway. He's going to be looking at an easy birdie from there. Up next, Steve Brinster. He's running back to his bag. I wonder if McBeth's roller inspired him. No, he's just grabbing a towel. I believe Brinster going with a standstill shot. I'm not going to see the aggressive roller line. While Paul's McBeth shot did end up in a great spot, he did get lucky about 4 times, including where he laid it down. He laid it down in between 2 trees. Brinster with that straight 220-foot shot that I mentioned moments ago. Center cut in the fairway. He's going to have to throw probably the exact same shot to get himself up towards the green. Paul Ulibarri looking to play it similarly to Brinster, except he's going with the forehand. And that is a beautiful forehand shot. Forehand putter, dead straight. Ulibarri showing great touch. I don't suspect Todd to have problems with this shot. Needs to sit soft. It does. He's on the left side of the fairway, a tree right in front of him, but still in the fairway, which is key on this very tight tunnel shot here. So out first is Paul Ulibarri. He's walked up the fairway, checking out his lie, trying to get a bead on this tight wooded fairway. Very difficult, a lot of trees, but there is a clear path all the way to the basket. I'm standing up here near the basket, and there's about a dozen trees inside the circle. The key for disc entering the circle here is to keep it low. There is a big tree on the front side of the green that will eat up discs and cause problems for putts if they're left short. Yuli going with the skip shot. Beautiful X1, sneaks in the circle and then curls right on the outside of the circle. Unfortunately, Paul, there is a tree that is near the basket that's going to inhibit his Anheuser jump putt. He's going to have to adjust from there. Brinster also lining up a forehand. Got to believe that's his trusty orange Firebird. Looks like he's going to go on that outside gap, similar to Ulibarri. And I'm getting word that we have a poor signal here, so apologies if we do cut out. Steve takes a more aggressive up the gut line and really kind of catches a bad break. It had that nose up for the forward skip, but he just left it a little bit too low. Not happy with that after throwing a great tee shot. Todd going with the forehand, gets the skip that Brinster needed, and that's up just outside the circle. And while Paul is probably just about 60 to 65 feet away, he does have that large tree between him and the basket, so he's going to have to do something magical with his putter here to get it to the basket. But again, for the third par 4 in a row, Paul McBeth making it look super easy. If Paul makes this would absolutely be insane. And he, oh my gosh, gives it a run. I'd love to see that again. And Brinster going with his Omega. He's going to spin jump it here. Or maybe just spin. Brinster's run floats right by the basket. He's going to have about 18 to 20 feet for the par from there. And Todd from outside the circle just high. It was dead center. Great speed. Just didn't drop. Bang, bang. Paul Ulibarri. Beautiful jump putt. He alters from his Anheuser jump putt. As I mentioned earlier, there was a tree on the left holding him up from that, but it didn't stop him from the birdie. Brentster cleans up nicely, and we are moving on from hole 12 to hole 13.
I'm Drew Gibson. You should have featured me on SmashBoxxTV.
Hey everybody, this is Bobby Cool Daddy Slick Breeze.
And I'm Eric McCabe.
And we want to invite you to check out our podcast, The Disc Golf Answer Man, where myself and Eric McCabe, 2010 Pro World Champion, answers your disc golf questions. Any questions on discs to choose, life on the road.
Don't forget about the Ralph updates.
And even Ralph updates. So check us out. We have segments where we talk about health and wellness of disc golf, mind, body, disc, and he talks about the mental part of the game. So check us out on iTunes or Stitcher, or just look us up at discgolfanswerman.com.
And welcome back to the 2016 Nantucket Disc Golf Open. I'm your host, Dana Vici. I'm here with SmashBoxxTV. And we are standing here at hole 13, which is a 526-foot par 4, another short par 4. With the way Paul McBeth is throwing, I'm expecting another eagle look. The previous 3 par 4s, Paul has gone birdie, 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 with the first 2 looks being legitimate eagle putts. And then he just came off an extremely difficult look at eagle and rattled the cage. He's really thrown some great shots. He's missed putts inside the circle early, but being a 2-round, one-day tournament, there's still a lot of golf to play on this long par 68 John Houck design course. Paul on the tee looking to go big again. Not as big as I anticipated, but an absolutely beautiful shot. Heiser flip with one of his many destroyers, gets a bunch of skips. He's going to be pitching up for a birdie from there. The premium is placed on the drive of this hole. Unlike hole 12, this hole really opens up after the first, say, 280 feet, and then bends slightly to the left. Paul Ulibarri with a misfire. That's one of the first bad tee shots, we'll say, that Paul Ulibarri has thrown today. And as you guys can tell, this really is a thrower's course. We're seeing Paul Ulibarri, Paul McBeth throwing some absolutely amazing shots, getting off the tee cleanly, getting themselves easy looks at birdies. Brinster, no slouch himself. With the hop hyzer flip, it looks like he soldered off just a little bit early. Catches a tree, puts him into the brush. Todd Lapham follows suit, but heads to the other side of the fairway. He is also going to find himself in the rough. This easier par 4 gets much more difficult if you do not get off the tee. I'm just going to run through a few scores for everybody on the previous few holes. Paul Ulibarri is coming off a couple nice holes. He birdied the previous hole, which was number 12, 11. Ulibarri found himself in a little bit of trouble, but made a great upshot and got the 4. Prior to that, he had 5 birdies in a row. So Paul Ulibarri really throwing some great shots today and scoring well. Steve Brinster, as you guys saw on hole 12, threw a great shot off the tee and then just missed his forehand up shot. Just a fraction of an inch. If the nose was up just a little bit more, he would have skipped all the way to the basket for the birdie. Instead, he had a par. He did birdie the previous par 4, hole 11, and prior to that, he did take a bogey on hole 10. And after birdies on 8 and 9 for Todd, he has kind of found the par train. Holes 11 and 12. Taking pars. And he's likely going to be looking at par or worse from where he's at now. We are on hole 13 here at Nantucket Disc Golf Course. We did not start on hole 1. We started on hole 3, so we're just about halfway through our round. And it is heating up. Not a cloud in the sky. The sun is shining. It's got to be up into the mid-80s.
You could forward him what we sent you, but if you keep track of all this stuff.
And covering a lot of ground right there is Steve Brinster. We've got Yuli, who is covered in stinging nettles from his, let's see, from when he was in the woods a couple holes ago on hole 11. I kind of made fun of him for being in stinging nettles, but he showed me his arms. He's got bumps all over him. Did not look like fun. Not fun is this lie that he has here, but he throws a great shot. It just needed a little bit more nose up on that forehand to skip up to the circle. Instead, he's pinched up on a tree about 45 to 50 feet away from basket number 13. While the rest of his group has thrown at least one time, we still have not got to Paul McBeth's tee shot. Looks like we have Todd out first before Paul gets to finally throwing his upshot. He does have another long eagle look. Great shot with the zone from Todd. Got McBeth with, I believe, a P2 in his hand. It checks up nicely about 18 feet left of the basket. Steve Brinzer from right around 100 feet. Little nose up. Anheuser shot over one of those dead trees that were left on the fairway. That came within inches of skipping off the top of that sawed off stump. Kind of a cool look right there, but almost cost Brinster. Instead, he'll be tapping in from his lie from about 6 feet away. And we watch Ulibarri with the jump putt up. I'm going to move on to hole 14 and let Justin clean it up here for us. And for another birdie, his fourth in a row. Paul McBeth taps in from 18 feet. And I'll see you guys on hole 14.
Hi, I'm Matt House. You're watching Live Disc Golf on SmashBoxxTV.
And Paul McBeth with a great tee shot here on hole 14. We are on a par 3. It's only 238 feet. He did catch a little nick of a branch down halfway through the fairway, kept fighting, then hit a tree right behind the basket. Kicks him back to the basket for a tap-in birdie. So from the long tee here, there's only one clear gap, and even good shots can get knocked down by the trees lining the route on the right side. Up next, Paul Ulibarri. He may be lining up an alternate shot, maybe a forehand that I did not see off the tee. Ulibarri has been playing great, although he did just bogey the previous hole. Wow. He just catches a couple of the same nicks that Paul McBeth hit, and he gets up into the circle. He's going to be about 22 feet. Currently, Paul McBeth is 8 under par, going to be tapping in to take himself to 9 under par. We got Steve Brinster from just about 100 feet. Brinster's Omega flies over the basket, leaves himself with about 19 feet. Todd over in the Shul up next. He's got a few trees to navigate before getting to the green. Does so nicely. Ulibarri moves to 7 under par on the round with the birdie on hole 14. Dead center, and you are watching live disc golf here on SmashBoxxTV from the 2016 Nantucket Open. We're on hole 14, heading over to hole 15, which is a 542-foot par 4.
Are you new to disc golf? Or maybe you've been playing for a while and just saw some pro smash it with a Dynamic Discs Defender. But you're just not sure that disc is right for you. If any of this describes you, then the Dynamic Discs Buyback Program is for you. Just go to any of our buyback retailers and purchase a disc from Dynamic Discs, Latitude 64, or Westside Discs. Try out that disc for 14 days, and if you're not completely satisfied with that disc, take it back and get it replaced with whatever disc you want in the store of any brand. Go to dynamicdiscs.com/retail to find a buyback retailer near you and get out there and play some disc golf.
For driving with power or into a headwind, Vibram designed a distance driver with amazing glide and a strong, predictable fade. It is the ideal disc for big arms, forehand drives, and smooth right-to-left finishes. Introducing the O-Lace from Vibram. Durability, grip, performance.
Hello everyone and welcome back. This is Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, chiming in here along with Dynamite Vichy. We hear that the red beard and the gorgeous hair are doing it for everyone here today. Dana, you've mentioned it a few times. It's a gorgeous day here in Nantucket. Ask for anything more. We felt a light drizzle this morning and that dissipated just about on probably our second hole. You've said that our competitors in fact started on hole number 3 today. They're moving through the course. We're sitting on hole 15 right now, a 542-foot par 4. And just when I thought we were letting off the challenge, I think we've got plenty of pars to go, more than par 3 anyway.
Yeah, most definitely. Hole 15, as you said, it's par 4. It's another par 4 on the shorter side. But this is the last hole on the south side of the course. There is a tight center route off the long tee, and a larger route does exist right and left around the center group of trees. One has to wonder what Paul McBeth has up his sleeve. I see him wandering up on the left side of the fairway. Maybe lining up another one of those hero-type shots. He's already had numerous looks at eagle. It's only a matter of time before he does cash in on one.
A little earlier, I believe it was 2 or 3 holes ago, we were walking from the pin of one hole over to the next tee, and he said, "Terry, you're going to have to spot these for me." Because I said, "Wow, you don't know where you're throwing?" He's like, "I'm not sure yet, but you're going to have to spot a few of these for me." So as you mentioned, Dana, he's gone for a number of the hero shots. It seems like he's executed every one of them. What he hasn't been able to cash in is the 45, the 50-footers. He's obviously usually good for a couple of those in a round, and today just hasn't been able to connect on them. And he seems that he's a little bit frustrated. He's walked up and putted relatively quickly. A few holes ago when he had another look at Eagle 2, he stepped up and putted much quicker than his normal routine. Instead, he had to settle for a drop-in birdie, which you can usually never complain about. But as you said, it may just be a matter of time. If he keeps going big, we know that he's going to usually cash in at least on a couple of them.
Most definitely. And then it's nice. We're going to get to see him attack these holes again, most likely this afternoon. Currently, Paul McBeth is at 8 under par. I have to imagine that's got to put him up somewhere in the lead. We do have some other top pros here on other cards. Drew Gibson, Jeremy Colling, Dustin Keegan. So there is some great competition out there that you're not seeing right now. Likely second round, we're going to have a shootout of sorts. And here's Paul going big.
Dana, I can't follow that. It's going to hit us.
And flies over Terry and mine's head. I can't quite tell. He's not too far from the basket. Don't know what kind of lie he has from there. I imagine he's going to have a look at birdie. No eagle. And Ulibarri going a little more conventional, looking to line something up the fairway. And absolute great shot from Paul. Hyzer flip, gets a nice couple skips. He's center cut of the fairway. He's going to have a left to right, wide open look to the basket from there. I suspect Brinster lining up nearly the same shot that we just saw from Paul Ulibarri. He pops his up a little bit. It was a little offline as well. Not as clean as Ulibarri's. Kicks him to the left. I do believe he will have a clean look at the basket from there. Todd hops up and throws. Absolutely great shot. Although it skips on these fast fairways into the side, it's almost off the fairway. He's going to have a little bit of a bush in his way, but he's going to be looking at birdie. So unless your approach goes further than 20 feet long, you might find yourself a little bit in the rough here.
Tell me, because otherwise I'd be moving.
Steve Brinster lining up the left to right turnover shot. He's going to have a rock or a putter in his hand. His main goal is to beat one of the trees. There's about 8 of them, 60 to 70 feet short of the basket. There is one low-hanging branch over the fairway, so he's going to have to go over that or under it. Looks like he's opted for over. Clips one of those trees I mentioned, and he's absolutely parked. Great upshot from Steve Brinster.
Dana, we see a biker that's been out on the fairway, and that in fact is Steve's wife, Leslie, joining in on the action. She's not competing this weekend. I believe she got onto the island and immediately got to the relaxing. We know that they have 2 beautiful kids that are absent from the island this weekend. So Steve and Leslie with a little time away from their children, enjoying this gorgeous Nantucket afternoon.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a vacation for them and some of the other players. This is a vacation land of sorts. It's an absolutely beautiful island. You get here in cabs or Ubers, you're going to find yourself walking or riding a bike around the island. I actually rode the short 4-minute ride from the house we're staying at to the course, and it was a nice warm-up. Got me going, ready for today. Paul Ulibarri, as I was talking, showed us how to throw an upshot correctly. He's right next to the basket.
And to follow up what you said, Dana, about riding your bike to the course, yesterday was, in fact, the first time any SmashBoxx crew member had to ride their bike to the course with camera equipment in tow. It was great to be here.
And I show off my great reflexes and get out of the way of Todd's shot. It finishes just outside the circle. Got Paul McBeth. While he did miss the fairway, there is a clearing, kind of tall grass, not the bushy rough that we've seen on every other hole. He kind of caught a break. He does have a tough shot. He has those trees to contend with that are about 60 to 75 feet away from the green. I'm thinking that he's going to have to throw a high turnover shot with his putter and just hope that it doesn't clip one of these trees. Looks like he may have opted for a rock 3 instead. Softly lands just to the left of the basket. He's got about 20 feet for the birdie. Currently, Paul McBeth has birdied the last 5 holes. He's got about 20 feet between him and his 6th birdie in a row. And just tickling left chains is Todd. He's going to walk away with another par. Nice cleanup from Paul. He does card the 6th birdie in a row. We're going to watch these guys clean up and move on to hole number 16.
Disc golf is a sport growing in popularity all over the United States and around the world. Dynamic Discs is the premier disc golf manufacturer, distributor, and retailer for enthusiasts, beginners, experts, and hardcore players. Along with hosting some of the best professional disc golf association tournaments in the country, Dynamic Discs also takes pride in offering the best customer service in the disc golf industry. At Dynamic Discs, customer service isn't just a department, it's the way we do business. Our entire staff at Dynamic Discs is knowledgeable and passionate about growing the sport and providing you with an exceptional experience. We know how important it is to get the products that you order in your hands as quickly as possible. Orders are shipped immediately from our own inventory and arrive at your doorstep in 2 to 3 days to almost any location around the United States. Check us out at dynamicdiscs.com.
Most understable one there. I can't reach it like that.
What is like the thing that tells you the disc is done? When you like, now this is ready?
When he puts it in his bag.
Says that?
When he puts it in his bag, it's ready. Yeah, we kind of throw it, test the different runs, and go with what's flying the best, most consistent. We can go up and down with different weights to change the flights and do different stuff as we're testing them. You know, different colors matter also. So. About 8 grams difference. We make and design the mold to do a specific thing. So we're out there testing the mold, testing the plastics to make sure that's how we design the disc so it can fly the way we want to.
are back here with SmashBoxxTV, hole number 16 at the Nantucket Open. Paul McBeth has the tee. There is a gentle breeze picking up, swirling a little bit. Be interesting to see if it picks up any more today. This is another shorter par 4. Paul really gives it a good rip. Looks like he got on it too much. Catches a tree on the edge of the fairway, kicks him into the rough. This might have been a case of Paul trying to chew off a little bit more than he needed to, because this is a pretty straightforward par 4. Not a whole lot of trees in the fairway. Not a whole lot of trees near the basket. Simply just grip and rip, keep it center cut. And Paul Ulibarri plays it nicely to the left side of the fairway. He will have one of the few trees in the fairway in his way, but it shouldn't be a problem. Roughly 200 feet from the pin. And the super smooth Brinster hop, slight hyzer flip. It needs the stick. Gets a couple soft skips, but does get pinched up along one of the few trees in the fairway. And this is Todd's bread and butter right here. Super smooth, absolutely center of the fairway. Great shot.
And Dana, I'm not sure if you were just teasing us here or not, but speaking of bread and butter, one of the unique things about this tournament is they'll also be treating everyone to lunch. We just walked past Tournament Central a few moments ago. We were able to quickly grab some waters. I believe you left our water bottles back on our third or fourth hole. So we were able to grab some waters. We see they're cooking out. There's a huge variety of different things that people could be eating, grabbing for lunch, all provided right here on site. So another added amenity. The players were treated to some discs as well as water bottles, I believe, this weekend. So great players pack. The amateur side sold out in less than an hour. So it says a lot about the experience that it is to come over here onto Nantucket Island to have them sell out in less than an hour. That is Todd Rainwater along with co-TD Mike. And it looks like everyone's been treated to a great time here. You mentioned that Macbeth, maybe, I believe you're thinking of he bit off a little more than he could chew there. He definitely turned that one over, and I wanted to position myself just behind the long drive that you see right here on screen. I wanted everyone to be able to see that. I was expecting one of our throwers to, in fact, get past that, but after seeing Macbeth turn his over and then Steve Brinster come up center of the fairway, looks like that long drive may stand here on hole number 16.
Yep, it is standing at least for another hole. Hole 16 here is a 582-foot par 4. And as I said, not a whole lot of trees for the players to contend with, although Brinster does find himself pinched up against one. Ulibarri between a few different ones, and the rough on the left, but both of those guys should be able to put it up near the basket from there. Macbeth in jeopardy of losing his birdie streak. He currently has birdied out since hole 10. So 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. As I was saying that, Terry chuckles as he watches Paul's disc fly and land right next to the basket.
Yeah, we were watching, I was watching down here, further down the fairway, and at no point did I realize or expect Paul to go out and around every tree and just miss putting it in by no less than 20 feet.
Nice upshot from Todd, puts himself inside the circle. Looks like Yuli's got maybe a PA1 in his hand. He's going with a standstill forehand. This is right in his wheelhouse. He just loves throwing those touch anhyzer shots with the PA1. Puts it right next to the basket. Steve Brinster slightly pinched up against this tree. It doesn't look like it's going to mess with him too much. As expected, right up next to the basket, next to Paul McBeth and Paul Ulibarri. We'll have one putt, 3 tap-ins before we move on to hole number 17. Hole 17 is going to be a 303-foot par 3 before taking us to the near 900-foot par 5 hole 18. I've got some more on hole number 18 here in a little bit. Great putt. Looks like we are going to have a star birdie frame, assuming McBeth is able to tap in his 15-footer. And that's hole 16 here at the Nantucket Disc Golf Open. We're SmashBoxxTV, and we're moving to 17.
For me, it's time with my friends.
For me, it's a walk in the park.
For me, it's my job. Go in.
Oh. For me, it's all about the exercise.
For me, it fits into my busy lifestyle.
For me, it's my passion.
For us, it doesn't cost much to play.
For me, it's fun.
And that is Paul McBeth throwing the low skip shot here on hole 17. He just made a great birdie on the 16th hole, which was a par 4. He's birdied the whole back 9 so far. He's going to have to hit a putt outside the circle to keep that streak alive. And Paul Ulibarri playing a great skip shot up into the green. He's going to have about a 25-footer for birdie. New York's Steve Brinster on the tee right now, looking to play a similar shot. I believe he's got a T-bird, a Brinster T-bird at that, in his hand. Doesn't want to go with a super overstable disc here. Playing the skip shot, you want the straight skip on this hole versus a skip hard to the left, and he does just that. Lands it early of the circle, skips straight at the basket. He's going to be looking at roughly 15 feet, well, a little less than 15 feet for the birdie. Todd hangs his out a little bit wide. Fortunately, catches a little bit of cabbage. He's not going to have an opportunity at a putt, but maybe Todd will get crazy and throw one in here for us.
And Dana, thank you so much for trying to keep up on the scores as best as we can. It just really shows the amount of energy and effort that our friends over at UDisc as well as PDGAlive.com. Anytime either of those services are in play for us, it makes everything a little bit easier. We have reached out, and we will be looking to have some type of scoring in place, hopefully, for the second round. Will help out the tournament, because not only does it help the tournament, it helps the viewers, it helps our broadcast, so everyone and beyond. We may be assuming that we're going to see Paul McBeth during that second round. In fact, I'd be willing to bet my entire house on it. So maybe we could reach out to Hannah. I know that she's done some scorekeeping in the past, so whether it's PDGAlive.com or UDisc, we'll make sure we can make it happen for second round.
And Todd pitches it up to literally under the basket. And Paul McBeth up next from outside the circle. Not wasting any time. Hits dead center, but just with not enough power. It was hydrating out. Soft left, center, does not stick. He's not taking a whole lot of time today. Ulibarri, on the other hand, checking the wind, marking his lie with his mini, taking his time. And sneaks it in left side. Count it. Birdie, Paul Ulibarri. And absolutely dead center. Comes right back out. Awful break for Steve Brinster there.
I'm Paige Pierce. You're watching Live Disc Golf on SmashBoxxTV.
Hi everyone, I'm Paul McBeth. You're watching Live Disc Golf on SmashBoxxTV.
Ask every top-level player if putting practice is important, and you will get a unanimous yes. Introducing the Recruit Basket by Dynamic Discs. This basket is tournament quality at a practice price. It can be put together or taken down in about 2 minutes and comes with all the necessary hardware and tools. The Recruit Basket has 13 inner and 13 outer strands of zinc-coated chains. The rest of the basket is electrophoresced first, and then powder-coated for protection from the natural elements. Weighing in at just over 50 pounds, it's very sturdy, but with the built-in wheel on the base, it's very easy to move. The recruit basket is easy to carry in a car's trunk because the pole is made of 2 parts. It also comes with an in-ground sleeve for a more permanent and secure installation. Get ready for tournaments. Get better. Get the Recruit.
And we're back here live at the Nantucket Disc Golf Open, hole 18, getting a little bonus footage of the card in front of us. They're about a quarter of the way through hole 18. It is a par 5, nearly 900 feet. When I asked John Houck which was his favorite hole out here, he said, among the longer holes, I really like hole 18. There are a couple good options off the tee, but you have to nail your line. If you hit your drive, you still have some work to get your 4, and a huge drive will give you a chance at 3. Speaking of 3, yesterday during the skins match, Paul McBeth laid down a second shot roller that put him about 20 feet from the basket. Him and his partner, Madison Walker, cashed in the Eagle 3, good for $500.
Dana, I think you were supposed to preface that with a spoiler alert, but what I would like to chime in and say is it was a great battle out here yesterday. There were, in fact, 8 players. We had 4 open men, 4 open women. 2 of the competitors had to qualify to get into the tournament or into the skins match, so it was a really good time out here yesterday. That was recorded locally, so I will be taking that footage at some point and putting it out, and I know before anyone gives me a hard time about when that will be, just keep in mind we go to Vermont in a few days, and then when we return from Vermont, if life is not too crazy, I hope to work on that skins footage from yesterday. But certainly a great battle. Madison Walker and Paul McBeth, as you mentioned, were teammates. Sarah Holcomb, along with Paul Ulibarri, were also teammates. Let's move back to the action here on 18, though, on the tee.
Speaking of Paul Ulibarri, he is on the tee here. He had the solo 2 after the dirty spit out for Steve Brinster on hole 17. And again, this is all about the tee shot. And Paul catches an early tree, kicks him into the left side, into the brush. McBeth likely looking to recreate some of the magic from yesterday. I'm assuming he's going to try to get himself into position to put down another aggressive roller for his second shot. See what he can do. Great shot from McBeth. He is absolutely center cut of the fairway. He will be in position to get aggressive on his second shot if he does choose to do so. So this is the longest hole out here at the Nantucket Disc Golf Course, coming in at 868 feet. And once the players get through the first quarter to 40% of the hole, it does get a little bit easier. Steve Brinster, I think that skipped just a little bit into the brush, but he's going to have a good look at a second shot to get himself down the fairway. He got on the other side of this island of trees that the players are trying to get through on their tee shots. That is the key on this hole, to get through basically to where McBeth got. From there, you've got a lot of open air to throw a shot, and you can get as aggressive or keep it in the middle, whatever suits your fancy.
And Dana, interesting that you said that John Houck said this was one of his favorite holes of the longer holes out here on this course. I would go as far as saying this is one of my least favorite. Now, granted, I'm not playing. I'm just out here doing a little bit of film work and commentary. But of the longer par 4s or 5s, this would be one of my least favorite holes. I feel like there's just a few too many trees in this initial tee shot. I know he's trying to make you force a route, and you're going to be rewarded if you happen to hit a gap. However, not one of my personal favorites. One of the interesting things we found out here this weekend, though, is anytime you're filming a course that's as challenging as this, with as many trees as it is really challenging, even with 2 cameramen in position to try and be able to track every shot that comes in. There's just a blockade of trees or a pocket of them left and right. Always makes it very difficult for either the throw or the catch to follow the entire flight of the disc.
Definitely. While it is difficult, it is still easier than a course, say, like Rolling Ridge, where we're in the really tight woods with the dog legs. That's a really tough course to film live. While this is tight and has some tight holes, it does open up considerably if we're comparing it to Rolling Ridge. And Ulibarri throws a nice forehand roller. He gets through that grouping of trees that Terry has expressed his dislike for. I think it's okay.
You would, Dana. You would think it's okay.
There might be one tree that I would consider maybe getting rid of, but I think it forces the player to throw a really great shot, and then from there they can attack the hole in a number of ways, as I was saying. And I think we're going to see Paul McBeth do something exciting for us. I don't think he's quite as far as he was yesterday, but he's still in a really good spot. And Todd with a forehand. He told us earlier, you got to catch one of my rare forehands, and it was a good one. And unfortunately for him, his second one was not so much. Cut rolls into the rough on the right. From the left edge of the fairway, we've got Steve Brinster. Looks like he's able to get a little bit of a run up. Seems to be lining up a roller. I don't think he's able to get to the basket, but if he could cover over 400 feet here, that would be huge. It is a cut roller, doesn't land on a good angle or a good direction, just on the edge of the fairway. He's going to have a tough shot from there, a lot of open fairway in front of him, but it's probably going to be a patent pending standstill shot from there. Very tough to get to the green. And it appears McBeth lining up a roller. He's taking his time here. We are on the hole 18, the 18th hole of, oh my gosh, he just missed having another opportunity at eagle. He catches a tree. I think that disc would have rolled way deep of this 868-foot hole. Instead, he's still going to have a shot for the birdie, but I know that he was gunning for that eagle. He's been gunning for eagles all day. He's going to have to wait. So while we are on the 18th hole of the course, we still have holes 1 and 2 to play. Hole 1, looking forward, is a 619-foot par 4, and then we'll finish on hole 2, which is a 302-foot par 3. So after this grueling par 5, we go par 4, par 3 to finish our round. And as we move towards the 18th basket, I can smell the barbecue grilling. There's barbecue smoke in the air. Smells great. Todd, Rainwater, and crew putting on an absolute great show here. Nice shot from Todd. Leaves him about pin high. He's going to have a long look from there.
Smells good.
And Steve Brinster with the patent pending here. He may be looking at putting down a roller. Judging by the angle, it is definitely going to be a roller. Looks to be a good angle, although it needs to stand up and flip very quick. It is, and it's slowly curling up towards the basket. Another great roller from Steve Brinster. I'm glad he threw a nice roller there because I was hyping him up earlier in the round as one of the best rollers in the game. Proves it right there.
Danny, you would say that's how he rolls?
Oh, no, he didn't. Believe me, everybody out there, if I could get away from Terry and his little one-liners, I would, but I am tethered to him with this microphone, so I apologize I just apologize. And Macbeth with the easy up, skips just a few feet away from the basket. And we've got Todd Lapham and Paul Ulibarri about 1.5 feet from each other. They're pin high from the basket. Probably about 50 feet, give or take. Not only are they going to have the 50-footer, they're going to have to contend with this Cowboys, Nantucket's best deli and premier butcher shop. Smoke coming off the grill. And Paul Ulibarri's jaw drops as that putt comes in just a little bit high. And dead center from Steve Brinster from just about the same distance that he was spit out a few holes ago. As these guys clean up hole 18, we're going to move on to hole number 1 before finishing our round on hole number 2.
The Mach X by DGA, the evolution of disc golf.
This is Dana Vici here with SmashBoxxTV. We are at the 2016 Nantucket Open, standing here on hole 1, which is known as the John Varconda hole. Hole 1 is a 619-foot par 4, very, very slightly uphill. There's not a whole lot of elevation here on the island, and we're not finding very much here on the course. So it is a slight uphill, and it makes a gentle right-hand turn most of the way. An ideal drive splits the middle channel and finishes right. Anything left will add distance. Once the players do get up towards the green, as we see the group in front of us now, it is a pretty wide open green. There is a bush just short left of the basket.
And Dana, one of the interesting things that I learned yesterday in talking to Todd Rainwater, our co-TD and facilitator, and helping us make the live disc golf possible this weekend, the pipes that you see, he said he was backing out of the course yesterday. He said, I got to make sure not to hit a pipe, as there was one back by Tournament Central, which we just walked through a few minutes ago. He said something in the neighborhood of $25,000. I believe those are some pipes that are used for testing, whether it's water or something else. So very crucial to make sure that you don't find yourself plowing over one of those pipes. It's going to cost you a few extra dollars here on Nantucket Island. And Nantucket Island, albeit this amazing vacation place and destination to get to, you don't need to add any additional expenses to your trip. There'll be plenty in just getting here.
Yeah, most definitely. Round trip on the high-speed ferry, I believe, cost somewhere around $60, maybe just a touch on the high side of 60, just like that putt there. But not the cheapest, but once you get here, it's a really cool island. This is a really cool course. Again, it's a John Houck design course, par 68. We've seen both Paul McBeth and Paul Ulibarri shooting very well here in this opening round at this PDGA B-tier event. And Paul McBeth on the tee here. This par 4, 619-foot par 4. And McBeth tries to go big Anheuser. Looks like it got hung up early. I said it earlier, Paul was in a tough spot that he wasn't going to get a birdie. He's going to lose his birdie streak, and he threw an amazing shot. So I'm not going to say it here, but he's got a tall order to get up and down for the birdie. He was going fairly aggressive, going up and over everything. We've seen him do that a few times today versus taking a little more traditional of a route. And speaking of traditional, Brinster, I'm going to say he left that a little wider and lower than he would like, but he is in the fairway. and we'll have an opportunity to get up and down for the birdie. Paul Ulibarri looking to turn something over a little earlier. He does, much higher than Brinster's shot. Catches one of the trees about 330 feet from the basket, kicks back. It's not pinched up against the tree. He's not going to have to worry about hitting it during his throw. Todd with another great shot into the fairway. He's up near Brinster. Now the interesting thing is finding Paul McBeth's disc. I lost it right off his hand as the trees are tall that he was trying to throw over. I did not see the disc fight through the tree or come flying over my head. I'm going to have to imagine that it is up in the tree. And if it's not up in the tree, it did drop behind the trunk where I could not see. And it is in fact up in the tree, or believed to be up in the tree. Out here on the East Coast, there is no 2-meter rule this weekend. If we did find ourselves all the way on the other side of the country, there might be a 2-meter rule. California still likes to play the 2-meter rule, which means if your disc is more than 2 meters above a tree in a bush or something else, you take a penalty and then throw from directly beneath. Where Paul's at, he's going to be taking his lie directly beneath where his disc is at with no penalty. So he's going to be throwing 2 from here. I personally am not a huge fan of the 2-meter rule when it is in effect. Another event where we see it in effect is at the Memorial. And I've actually found myself in a few trees at the Memorial and been penalized for it. A lot of times it can end up being kind of a double punishment because you're pinched up in a tree, in a bush, taking a penalty and throwing from a very tough position. It does look like Paul was far enough from the trunks of the trees to have a clean lineup, clean run-up, excuse me. Looks like he's going to go big over the rough. It's a big Blumenheiser, needs to get down quick. And it sticks about pin high left. The crowd likes it. Paul is going to have a look from outside the circle for birdie. And Todd Lapham with a nice smooth controlled shot. Needs one release to the bucket. He gets it. He's going to be about 15 to 25 short. And Brinster with what looks to be a rock right at the basket. Needs one little skip. He gets it. Skips towards the basket. Next up, we're going to have Paul Ulibarri after having the best drive of the group. And Yuli is looking at his options. It looks like he has decided on a forehand. I believe he's going to be throwing a flex shot with one of his overstable X1s. That appears to be the case. Needs a sit. Gets a really soft check. Kicks up inside of the 10-meter circle. He's going to have a putt for birdie from there. So while we make our way up to hole 1's green, I just want to thank Todd Rainwater, the whole Nantucket disc golf crew, for bringing us at SmashBoxxTV out here to bring you live disc golf. This is round 1 at the Nantucket Disc Golf Open. We're going to be back here after a lunch break for round 2 lead card action. I believe the number is $8,000 added cash. Winner is definitely going to be taking home more than $1,000. And on top of that, the top 4 players will play in a 3-hole match with a winner-take-all paycheck of $2,000. Up first, Paul Macbeth. And the wind swirling a little bit drops Paul's putt. He's not happy. He hasn't been able to connect from outside the circle today. And the wind is swirling a little bit here. This is the most wind we've felt today. Not a problem for Paul Ulibarri. Now Steve Brinster didn't quite get the skip that I thought he did to the basket. He's a little shorter than he would like, but definitely well within his range. And Brinster drives the bus, as some people say about his putt, to a birdie. Here we've got Todd. Todd cleans it up nicely, and we are heading to our last hole, hole number 2. Nantucket.
For me, it's time with my friends.
For me, it's a walk in the park.
For me, it's my job. Go in.
Oh. For me, it's all about the exercise.
For me, it fits into my busy lifestyle.
For me, it's my passion. For us, it doesn't cost much to play.
For me, it's fun.
So every month, as you guys know, that we like to recognize an outstanding employee. So for the month of May, Employee of the Month is Dixon Jowers. Good job. All right, so for this month, like we usually do, we like to recognize somebody for outstanding service. So Employee of the Month for the month of June is Dixon Jowers. Congratulations, Dixon.
Thanks,
Good job. Good job. All right, everybody, we've come to the time of the meeting where we're going to give away our Employee of the Month award. So let's take a look. And for the 3rd time in a row, it's Dixon Jowers. Congratulations, Dixon.
Bagger.
Well, so next on the agenda, we're going to talk about sales for next month. We have some new products coming out, and it's exciting.
And we're here watching disc golf action at the Nantucket Disc Golf Open. We've got Steve Brinster on the tee, hole number 2, 302-foot par 3. It is the final hole of our round. He throws a great shot with a Brinster T-bird, leaves himself about 25 feet long and right. Paul Ulibarri coming off a really nice putt on hole 1 for birdie. Looks like he's got a little bit more overstable of a disc than Steve did. Yeah, he kind of cranks over on it. Flexes back nicely, and that was going at the basket, and it catches one of the 2 trees that are short right of the basket. He's still inside the circle. He's just got a little bit of work to do versus a tap-in. Todd Lapham, absolutely great shot. I've been impressed with Todd's game all day. Many of the East Coasters know Todd. He helps run the New England Winter Team Disc Golf. And that looks to be a misfire from Paul Macbeth. But Todd puts in a lot of work over the winter organizing the team challenge. I believe he's the director of the A pool, so he's going to be walking away with a birdie on hole 2 here. This is our final hole of round 1. You're watching live disc golf on SmashBoxxTV.
And as we start to wrap things up here, Dana, we'd like to thank all of our viewers and sponsors and supporters. You've seen a number of our sponsors throughout this broadcast. As a little thank you for support throughout the rest of the year. We couldn't be doing this without you guys. Everyone getting a little free advertising, a little bonus advertising here this weekend for the last moment Nantucket Open. That again goes out to Todd Rainwater for bringing us in here at SmashBoxxTV. So thank you to the PDGA and to everyone else that has supported us up throughout this entire year, all of our sponsors at any given event on the PDGA Tour and beyond.
And Macbeth hops up to his lie, fires just about 6 inches low from what would have been a 60-foot putt. And exactly how you want to end your round. That's birdie, birdie for Paul Ulibarri. Nice little 20-foot tester putt. Not a problem. Steve Brinster from about the same distance. And just a little bit low for Brinster. He's going to be walking away with a par. I believe Paul Ulibarri's record is going to be intact for another round unless someone from another card went below 53. He shot it 2 years ago. And again, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in here to SmashBoxxTV. We're here at the 2016 Nantucket Disc Golf Open. That was round 1 action. We're going to be back after lunch with lead card round 2. Hope you guys are back with us. We'll see you soon.